Don't DNF Dublin, the nation's most anticipated competition every year. The place where many iconic records have been set, including Usain Bolt's 100 meters in 9.58 seconds. But I, Callan, aka Scooch Cubing, have been practicing for centuries to conquer this competition. I was as confident as a lion. Actually, in reality, I was thinking, there's no way I'm going to do well. I got a did not finish last time, and this competition is literally called Don't DNF Dublin. I am 100% going to DNF. By the way, this competition goes on for 2 days. The events I'm doing on the first day are 2x2, 4x4 and one-handed. And on the second day, 3x3 and Pyraminx. Each event is 2 rounds except for 3x3 which has 3 rounds. The first round of the competition is 2x2, which is my main event.
Okay, I'm going up now. Someone in the group before me just got a national record, so I'm kind of nervous.
So it was time for the first solve. In my last competition, I DNF'd the first solve. So in my head, I was thinking, don't DNF. Whatever you do, do not DNF.
12.
Have you signed up for many events? What?
Unbelievable, you actually DNF'd. You had one job and you failed. Actually, it was just a timer malfunction and I got an extra solve. So I did the resolve and I got a 2.38, which is a pretty good start to the average. But then I went into God mode. The second scramble was really nice and I managed to get a sub 2.
Nice.
This was my first official sub 2 solve, so I was really happy about it. The third scramble was even better than the second one and I managed to get another sub 2. I'm not gonna lie, at this point, I wasn't even thinking about the fact that I could get a national record. I had no idea at the time, but all I needed was a 3.09 or better to get NR average. And on the fourth solve, this happened.
No DNF average.
Yeah. What are these scrambles, dude? These scrambles are crazy.
It was only now that I started thinking,
Can I get NAR or NR?
but somehow I still wasn't sure that I got the record. The fifth solve was the luckiest scramble yet, but I thought I still needed to improve my average to get the record, so I was really nervous.
I choked it.
I thought that I lost the record until Ciarán looked at my scorecard and said,
Was it? I got NR.
so the 1.38 in the fourth solve made me the first Irish person to get a sub 2 second average. I didn't know this until after the competition, but the previous record wasn't beaten for 5 years, and I just broke it by almost half a second. And this was my reaction. Like, yo, what is that? This has to be the stupidest reaction to a record ever. Anyway, the record was announced and of course Sean pronounces my name wrong.
We also have another Hayden Doherty.
Okay. Yeah, I got national records, which is crazy, like so unexpected. Like just before I was going up, I was like, okay, there are 2 rounds, so you just have to get an official average, because I DNF'd in my last competition. I still didn't have an official average yet, so I was like, okay, I don't care if it's 5 seconds, 7 seconds, a minute, just get an official average, and then in the finals you can go for like a better average, like actually try hard. Then for the second solve, it was a really good scramble, so I was like, okay, I might as well just go for it. Then I got sub 2. Then for the third solve, really good scramble again. What's going on? Another sub 2. The fourth scramble was even luckier, one of the best scrambles I've ever seen, and I got a 1.38 there. So the fifth scramble came and it was a 1 move layer. So I thought I had to do well in this solve to get NR, but then I choked it. I choked the CLO and I was like, oh my god, I choked. Then a few of the guys looked at my scorecards and they were like, lad, I think you got NR. And sure enough, it was a 1.99, which is crazy. And shout out to the absolute legend Ram Thacker, who called this was going to happen. We were messaging on Discord and he said, imagine you get an NR on your first official solve. And I was like, no, there's no way, that's impossible. Then I do it and Ram starts like freaking out. Oh my god, I called it. So yeah, my first official average was NR.
One-handed was next and the top 16 go through to the finals. I don't really practice one-handed, my best is 32 seconds, so I'm basically doing it just to pass the time. In the first solve, my turning wasn't that good and I got a 35. During the second solve, I was turning like Max Park. Okay, maybe not quite, but I was turning a lot faster than I normally do. After a nice COLL case into a U-perm, I got my first ever sub 30 solve.
Oh! I don't think I've even got that at home.
The rest of the solves were pretty average for me. In the third solve, I got a 36. In the fourth solve, I got a 32 with a very professional cancellation into F-perm.
The cancellation was good.
I know, right?
And on the last solve, I got a... Yeah, maybe I should stop using a water bottle as my tripod. But anyway, the last solve was a 33.
And onto 3/3 one-handed. I didn't really expect to do well here. I don't practice it a lot. I did get a 26-second solve though, which I think breaks my PB at home. So yeah, that's 2/2 and one-handed. Next is 4x4. I'm hoping to get just a sub 1 average, a sub 1 minute average. That's my goal.
It was time for 4x4 round 1. In the first solve, I don't know why, but I was turning like a snail. I had way too many pauses and that resulted in a 1 minute 1 second solve. The second solve was a lot better. I got a 56. The third solve was going really well. I was actually almost on track for PB. But then with double parity, the last layer took 15 seconds and I got a 102. In the fourth solve, this happened. I honestly have no idea what I was thinking during this pause. Like, just turn the cube. Just turn anything. Do anything. Anyway, that solve was a 120, but we don't talk about that. The final solve was alright. It was a 59 without parity.
Let's go. So good. So 4x4 is done. I got a 1 minute 1 second average. It's not great. I wanted to get sub 1, but it's fine. Ciarán got an NR average, of course, but I still somehow made the finals. I got 16th and 16th going to the finals, so I'm just barely in. And also, I just found out for one-handed, I got 16th as well. So yeah, that's very lucky. But next is one-handed finals, which I'm probably going to do very bad in, but let's see.
Next was one-handed finals after just barely qualifying. I spent a few minutes beforehand learning algorithms for H-perm and Z-perm, which I never got to use anyway. The first solve of the average was actually insane. I was turning a lot better than before and I got a 25, destroying my PB. After that solve, I was telling myself, okay, you just got a 25 on a solve that wasn't even that lucky. Just focus and you can do it 4 more times.
I did do it, but
Yeah, that didn't work out that well. Anyway, we don't care about one-handed because next is 2x2 finals. I already got a national record last round, so for the finals, my goal was just to get a solid average and I guess don't DNF. The first scramble was pretty average and I got a 2.77. The second scramble was up there with one of the worst things known to human race. It was actually horrendous. I had to 2-look it and I got a 3.53. The third scramble was a bit better, but I messed up the algorithm. The fourth scramble was again not much better, but I managed to make something work and I got a 2.46. The fifth scramble was also kind of bad, and you can see me smiling here at how bad these scrambles are compared to the first round. However, I was still able to one-look this, but for some reason I hesitated a little bit before doing the algorithm and I got a 2.98.
Oh my god.
I was quite disappointed with these solves and it resulted in the 3.09 average. But wait a minute, I won?
So I got 3.09 average, which I'm normally disappointed about, and I was disappointed about it. Like, I didn't even get a sub 2. No one got a sub 2. Literally nobody. And at first I was like, okay, I probably didn't even podium. But then, like half an hour later, the leaderboard was updated and I won it. What? So yeah, apparently the scrambles were so bad that nobody did good. So it was quite an underwhelming first podium and first win, but I'll take it.
The last event of day 1 is 4x4 finals. In the last round, I missed out on my goal of getting a sub 1 average by just 2 seconds, so I really wanted it this time. The first solve was a 59, which is a decent start. The second solve had a few more pauses and I got a 102. In the third solve, I was being a Dumbo during edge making and I paused a lot and I ended up getting a 110. The fourth solve was a lot better. I got a 57. It came down to the fifth solve and I needed a sub minute. I finished with an average of 101. I didn't make my 4x4 goal, but overall the first day of the competition was a huge success. So I went home and practiced for a while, then I came back for the second day. The first event of day 2 is Pyraminx Round 1. I'm gonna be honest, this very competition made me realize I hate Pyraminx. I just find it so awkward to turn. I'm always turning the wrong sides and my TPS is really slow every time I solve it. And don't even get me started on the tips, I mean they just serve no purpose. This was my best solve of the average, and as you can see, the tips added like 2 seconds. If you're any good at Pyraminx, then I have a lot of respect for you because I don't know how you do it.
I just did Pyraminx, got sub 10 average, but 3x3 is next, and I don't really know what I'm hoping for because the last comp I got like a 1060 average, which is crazy for me, and I don't think I'm going to beat that, but I'm going to try. I have the steps on my hoodie just in case I forget them. Is that cheating? That could technically be cheating, I don't know. Hopefully I don't get disqualified.
So it was time for an actual good event 3x3. In the first solve, I somehow misinspected and completely messed up the cross. That solve ended up being a 16. The second solve wasn't great either. I had a few unnecessary rotations, but I got an 11, which was pretty average for me. But then something really weird happened. There was a mix-up with my scorecard and the scorecard of the person beside me. Maybe a scrambler accidentally swapped them and nobody realized or something, I honestly don't know. But somehow one of my times was accidentally written on his card and his time was written on my card. Nobody really knew what was going on, so we fixed the mistakes. And to make sure nobody got the same scramble twice, they gave us the extra scramble for the third solve. And then this happened. I got a 7.01. Not only did this break my best official solve by almost 3 seconds, it also beat my overall best solve ever, which was 7.36. This is only my 13th official 3x3 solve, and it was faster than the tens of thousands of solves I did at home.
Excuse me, bro.
Sorry, did I distract you? Sorry.
It's okay. I would have done the same.
You're in the middle of the solve.
Yeah, but...
Sorry.
So the guy beside me who I completely distracted while he was in the middle of a solve, and also whose scorecard got mixed up with mine, we later discovered that we have a daily game on chess.com together, which is a huge hilarious coincidence. During the fourth solve, I think I was just so overwhelmed with the 7-second solve, so I messed up a lot and I got a 13. With accounting 11 and 13, at this point I was thinking that the average was pretty much dead, even though I got a 7, but then on the 5th solve, this happened.
Yeah. Yo, what just happened? So basically, like, my score sheet was kind of, or my scorecard, it was like messed up. So the guy beside me got an 8.33, which was his PB, and it was written on my scorecard for some reason. Like, the scrambles were mixed up. It was like in different order for me because of that. So I got an extra solve and I got full step 7.01, which beats my personal best at home. And then the rest of my solves were awful, except for that 8 at the end, which was counting. Then I have an 11 and 13 counting. What the hell? I got a full step 7. 7.01 as well. It was so close to sub 7. I celebrated as I would at home, so I kind of distracted everyone else. But yeah, I got 7.01, which is insane for me.
Straight after 3x3 first round, it was 3x3 second round. The first solve was out of focus, so unfortunately I can't show it to you guys. Oh, that's such a shame. It was a 13. In the second solve, the F12 wasn't great and the last layer was really easy, but I still only got an 11. The look ahead on this third solve was trash and I got a 12. The fourth solve was a lot more efficient and I just barely got a 9. And finally, the last solve was kind of trash. It was a 13.
3x3 round 2. I got a 12-second average. The second I put my hands down on the 5th solve, I was like, I didn't qualify. But I actually did make finals. I came 10th somehow. I guess the nerves got to everyone else, or maybe the scrambles were harder. I don't know. So yeah, I was super relieved to see that I got into the finals. Pyraminx finals is first and then 3x3.
It was time for Pyraminx finals, and this is honestly where I just gave up on this event. Like, it actually sucks so bad. I'm not even going to show you all of the solves because I got a 13-second average and I even got a DNF, and as you can see, I just don't care. This was actually my only DNF in the competition, so 1 DNF in Don't DNF Dublin isn't too bad. Also, just one thing, if you're judging in a competition, please don't be like this.
You said you didn't make cutoff when you had an 868 solve. And I had to good judges don't mess with.
So it was time for 3x3 finals. I was up against some pretty good competitors, so getting podium was basically impossible, but I still wanted to get a decent average. In the first solve, the F12 was pretty good, but then the last layer was kind of slow and I got a 1030. While some kids were arguing about the placement of the tables, I was doing my second solve. The F12 in this solve was again pretty good, and this time the last layer was a lot faster and I got a sub 10.
speed.
For the third solve, the scramble wasn't great and neither was my efficiency. I kind of saved it with decent TPS on the last layer and I got a 12. There were some more interesting conversations during my fourth solve.
I thought I paid extra for expression.
You paid for DHL and you got USPS.
This honestly messed up my whole solve and I 100% fully blame them for me getting a 14.
That was so good.
Okay, I have no idea what Sean is doing here. If anyone knows sign language, then maybe try figure out what he's implying because he might need serious help. I needed a great final solve here or else my average would be pretty bad. The scramble was again not great. I had a slow start and during F12 I was like, it's over, this average is dead. But then last layer came and it was also kind of trash and I got a 12. So 3x3 finals, I got an 11.66 average and I came 8th, which, yeah, not bad. That's an improvement by 1 on my first competition, even though the average was way worse. Can I just say, my 3x3 solves are so, like, they're the most inconsistent thing known to mankind. Like, I got a 16-second solve and then a 7-second solve in the same average. Like, how is that even possible? But anyway, I'll try and fix it somehow. So it's been 3 weeks after the competition and the WCA changed one of my times of my 2:2 NR average to a DNS. And what do you know, it was the best time. It was the 1.38. So let me explain this. A few days after the competition, I uploaded the average 1.99 national record 2:2 average, don't DNF Dublin 2022. And I show all the solves in the average, obviously. So someone realized that I got the same scramble in the third solve and the fourth solve. And I, honestly God, I did not notice that at all. But yeah, as you can see, like they're the same scramble. So the first time I got the scramble, I got 1.66 and the second time was a 1.38. So they disqualified the 1.38 or they changed it to DNS. I got an email saying from your average video, there's a duplicate scramble. The WRC, which is like they're part of the WCA, has decided to replace attempt 4 with a DNS. This means your counting solves are 2.38, 1.94 and 2.70. It's still Irish NR and places you first in the first round. So it's still national record, but I'm obviously still kind of annoyed because it's not like sub 2 anymore. It's actually a 2.34 now. So apparently someone watched this video and realized the scrambles are the same and contacted the WCA saying that, oh, we got a duplicate scramble. So I've talked to a few people about this and all of them disagree with it just because like it wasn't my fault at all. Like one of the scramblers obviously like mixed up the scrambles and I was never told to check the scrambles or anything. And also similar things happened in the past. Like there's been mess ups with scrambles but they got away with it still. I would have thought that like they would just leave it, but they decided to change it to a DNS. A DNS stands for did not solve, so it's different from a DNF, but it does the same thing. Like it counts as the worst solve of the average. I guess the only thing I could have done differently is go to a delegate and check if the scrambles are correct. But then again, like no one told me to do that. But I'll definitely be doing that in the future if I get another NR. But yeah, it's now a 2.34. I actually have to update the title of my video. Okay. Oh, this is so sad. Okay, this 2.34. Wait. What? Okay, we're back. I don't know what happened there. Alright, 2.34. National record 2:2 average. Save. Okay, there you go. 2.34. So yeah, that's that. Okay, one thing I will say though is that the scramble was actually really good. Wait, let me try to find it. Okay, yeah, so this is the scramble. I think what I did the first time was... What did I do? Oh yeah, I did orange. So I did an orange layer like this and then got this really easy T CLO. And then the second time I did it, I did blue, 3 moves on blue and then this 8 move CLO. But there's also, wait, there's something else. Yeah, there's also this. So you do 3 moves on yellow and get this CLO. Just 6 moves. Like this scramble was actually insane. But what else was there? Like, oh my god, this, wait. 4 moves into soon. Dude, what? So, to be fair, if I were to get a scramble twice, then this would have been the perfect one. Like, Okay, people are gonna think I'm a cheater now, but honestly, like, I didn't realize. So yeah, that's actually so funny that it was one of the best scrambles ever that I got twice. But anyway, I'm happy that's national record still. I'll definitely be trying to beat it though. And yeah, the journey for the sub 2 average continues. So yeah, I'll end the vlog there. Thank you so much for watching. If you've liked the video, then subscribe and like. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.